Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is Tuesday Night Live. I'm Deanna, the founder of toolsoferenergyprotection.com and the Spiritual Awakening Academy. It is so good to see you tonight. It is April 26th, 2022. I hope you all are having a fabulous night. There are so many things that are happening fast and furious on this planet. Sometimes it's hard to pick what to talk about, but I'm going to give a chance for a few more of you to get on here. Like I said, it's just super exciting to live in these times. December was kind of a crazy month, and here we are in April. Just all kinds of things happening. So whether you're joining me, whether you're joining me live or whether you're joining me for the recording, I'd like to welcome all of you and tell you it is a great time to be alive. And a lot of people have been, here trying to control everything here. A lot of people have been contacting me, asking me what's happening and why the timelines look so different and all that kind of stuff. So tonight, I'd like to talk to you about what's happening again on the planet. Yeah, let's see here. I'm going to try to get everything set. Like I said, there's so many buttons right here. Okay, so what I'd like to talk to you tonight is about manifesting during the eclipse season and the DNA shifts that are happening right now for our planet and for those of us that are awake and aware, empaths, highly sensitive people, and star seeds. So let's get started. First of all, I'd like to tell you that Thursday I'll be down at For Heaven's Sakes Books in Denver. If you'd like to get on my schedule, it's 303-964-9339. Again, that's 303-964-9339 for Heaven's Sakes Books on Thursday. If you'd like to see me any other day, if you go to toolsoferenergyprotection.com, click on services and pick out which kind of how much time or what kind of a reading you'd like to have. And it'll take you over to my calendar. You select the date that you would like, and then you'll go ahead and go through with payment to secure your time. Just a little heads up for you, I am booking out right now 2 weeks in advance. So if you're one of those people that didn't get on my schedule last week on Thursday or Friday, go ahead and either get onto the website, my website, and book an appointment, or go ahead and call the bookstore to make sure you get on my books. It seems like I'm going to be having more and more folks booking out in advance. So make sure that you get your time before they're gone, and you have to wait for about 3 weeks. All right, little camera adjustment there. Okay, so May the 1st, we are going to open up the doors for the Spiritual Awakening Academy Level 1. I'm working right now on completing Level 1 and then moving on to Level 2. And there's so many people that have reached out to me. If you go to toolsoferenergyprotection.com, or you go up here on the link, it will show you a link to get over to the Spiritual Awakening Academy. And there is an application for you to fill out. It doesn't cost anything to fill out the application. I'm getting to them as soon as I can. Had a long list of folks to call today and get enrolled. So I want you to come and join us. It's going to be exciting. We're going to learn about our spiritual divine gifts. For those of you that have the Jewish Christian background, you're going to learn where they are in the Bible and how they are sanctified or given by God's Spirit or source, and how they help us in this world here now. Starseeds, empaths, highly sensitive people, this is our time. This is our time to flourish. This is our time to shine a light into the world. And so if you're not sure, if your spiritual shields that you've had up until now and your energy shields just haven't been working and you're not sure what's going on, some of you feel like you're not able to communicate with your guides like you used to be able to. Some of you feel like God's not answering your prayers. None of this is true. It is an illusion. There are some energies that can block you if you're not strong enough or you don't know how to clean yourself off. So that bit is true. And the 1st of May, we're going to be starting the next section of the Spiritual Awakening Academy, meaning it's a year-long program. We started one back in December, and this is going to be the second one. So I'd love to have you aboard and join the rest of us. And there's going to be 3 recordings And then there'll be 2 live Q&As every month and 4 master classes a year where we will have in person. I'll do it on Zoom, but it'll still be in person, live and active, and everybody, talking and exchanging and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you'll come and join us before we close the door on May 1st. All right, here we go. So manifesting before eclipse season. Why is that important? Okay, right now, all of the planets, which help shift the frequency of the earth, which affects our minds, which also affects what's going on the planet, for the next 3 days, today is Tuesday, April 26, 2022, for the next 3 days, all the planets are direct. And that gives us a huge amount of energy to make decisions. It's like, having a direct line, if you will, to the source, or a direct line to knowledge. And so many of you have been noticing out there that you're playing either put out the fires or you're playing whack-a-mole. And what I mean by that is that over the last few months, and when the planets have been direct, it's like there's, if you will, a direct light shining on your life. And the divine God, spirit, or source is saying, here is everything you desire. All you have to do is move forward. And of course, the human mind is like, no, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I can't move forward, and it's all up here. It's not about your 3D world. It's up here. You've got everything at your fingertips. God, spirit, or source has brought everything to you that you've desired or needed. And all that is required is to move forward. I talked to several people this week. I said, hey, if you're wanting to accomplish this, whatever that was, then these are the steps to move forward. And I got a lot of blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And what's happening is that people are resistant to change because their ego says that they're happy where they are, even if they're uncomfortably comfortable or happily miserable. And again, why that is due to the psychology of the human brain. From the time of conception till about age 12, everything that you see or experience goes into your subconscious brain. And then when you get to a certain age, the subconscious brain closes the door, so to speak. And when you're in a certain situation or a particular way of going forward, your conscious brain pulls forward stuff from the subconscious and projects it out into its environment, says, let's do this. And that's why people have, habitual ways that they act. They say, I want this, I desire that, I have a desire to own a piece of property and put horses on it. And you can do it, and you work really hard, and you make the money to do it, and you meet the right people, shake the right hands, you sign on the dotted line for the contract of the property, and then the next month you can't make the payment. Well, why not? Well, did the momentum stop? No. But a certain part of you is like, oh, I'm successful. Wow, this is wonderful. And there was a part inside that says, I'm not worthy. And so the unworthy part of you inside pulls back the part that said it was worthy. And so you get it back and forth, up and down, 1 foot on the brake, 1 foot on the gas, however you want to describe it. If that makes sense to you in your life, give me a thumbs up. If you're on the YouTube recording, put a comment down here about what's been going on in your life. Does it seem like things are topsy-turvy? Does it seem like it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or maybe 1 step forward and 2 steps back? How many of you are feeling that out there right now? Okay, looks like there's a few of you. Good. Okay. So the other thing that's happening, and the reason why it's so important for you to get ready to manifest before eclipse season, is that literally what you've been asking for, what you've been desiring, and putting your energy out to draw to you has been coming to you. If you're like, well, Deanna, that's not true. Okay, well, maybe you haven't put it out there strongly enough. Maybe you haven't thought about it and moved forward enough. But these times we've been living in with all the planets direct have been so easy to manifest that I went, what was it, Monday? Yeah, today's Tuesday, Monday. I went to a coffee shop where there was a group of ladies that I like to meet with, and I wasn't going there to meet with them intentionally, but they happened to be there. And I was looking for someone to come out and do some things with my lawn, but I didn't know who. And you know, I didn't want to just vicariously pick somebody off of Google. And so the ladies were there. I sat down to say hello, had a little conversation. Before you know it, I left it with a name and a phone number of a person that was trusted, that would do the job well and completely and in full wholeness, if you will, full integrity. So it was just a matter of being in the right place at the right time to get that name. Now, does that seem miraculous? No, not really. However, if you think about it, manifesting is about asking for what you desire and for things coming to you, you know, to help you, okay? Things coming to you to help you. And it might be a little step, it might be a contact, it might be somebody giving you some information. And then you have to go forward or not. And so I chose to call the contact and talk to the person, knowing that they would do a good job and it just wouldn't be one of those things where they took my money and, you know, hardly did any work at all, because they're a place of integrity. So I took that and walked forward, and the next thing I would need would be money to pay them. Well, what if it's outside my budget? You know, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't worry about it. I just knew that once I put out what I needed, it would come to me. So the person came to me, the information came to me. Now I've made the appointment and the money's on its way, no worries. That's what a simple manifestation can look like. Manifesting is sometimes easier than that, but that's what it can look like. And I would like for all of you to know that. I took the time for that because between now and 3 days from now, anything that you can do towards asking the divine for what you want and taking steps forward to go in the direction that you're shown, in wisdom, of course, then you're going to receive everything you need to receive the manifestation of what you desire. Okay, I'm going to go over and look at some questions. If that makes sense to you, can you give me a thumbs up? I want to make sure that I've got everybody in the right spot. Okay. Hi. Okay, so hi to Wendy. Looks like hello to Amy. Hello to Kelly. Oh, hello, Paul. Let's see here. Yes, so Paul says they are all directly observable. None are hiding behind the sun. Yes, that's I love it. All the planets. Great. Thank you, Paul, for that. Hope you're having a good night. Let's see, and hello again to Kelly. So anyway, I sincerely hope that makes sense. One of the things that is happening, I'm going to talk about here in just a few minutes, is the DNA activation and how do you know? And if you will, one of the side effects or one of the signs that your DNA is changing is having trouble thinking, because there's so much going on all at one time. Anyway, okay, so hi, Rochelle, good to see you. Okay, so anyway, so manifesting before the eclipse season looks like that. It's just a simple asking the universe for what you desire, walking forward in your life, and when little things pop up here and there, taking advantage of those things by moving forward in wisdom and knowing that whatever else you need is coming. And that is important because planet Pluto actually retrogrades on Friday, and then that's followed by the solar eclipse on Saturday. And then we begin eclipse season. And what does that mean? Well, the manifestation won't quite come as easily as it has been. It'll be a little bit more challenging to ferret it out. It also means that we're going to have different frequencies to align us, to test us to different things. So it's a good idea to take advantage of the next 3 days and put out there what you like and kind of, you know, get your bearings on what's happening, because once we hit the eclipse season, be it solar or lunar, we're going to have lots of buildup to a lot more challenges. It's going to be a bumpy ride, if you will. And the universe is right now showing you what is in alignment for the next, about the next 6 months. So whatever you're manifesting, whatever you desire, whatever you ask for, it's starting to come towards you. And you're going to be working on those things for about the next 6 months. Some people have asked me, when I talk about these lives, how long is it going to be? What does that look like? And so roughly about now to 6 months from now is going to be your next set of goals that the universe has for you, objectives, all that kind of stuff. So however you want to look at it, it's the vibrational frequency and where you are in time and space that's going to move you forward. Okay, so I'm going to see if there's any questions, and then we're going to talk about DNA activation. Let's see here. Don't see if I have any more questions, and I don't. Okay, also you might notice if you're watching here live on Facebook or the recording, right down here it says to send stars to your hostess. That would be me. And so if you don't know about the star program, if you look up on Facebook stars, and it'll show you how that works. And what that means is that by clicking the stars when you're watching videos, it sends me a few cents monetarily, and then Facebook, after you get so much, will give you a little bit more to sweeten the pot. So it just helps to keep the lights on. And for sometimes those of you who watch these lives every week and you want a way to give back. So that's your way to give back. All right, let's switch over to DNA activation and what that looks like. So a lot of you have been finding out that you are empaths, highly sensitive people, and star seeds, and that you want to know what that looks like. You're like, okay, so I've heard of this term star seed, not sure what it means. I'm an empath, I know that. Not really sure what to do at this point, in the juncture, which you can go check out the Academy on toolsofenergyprotection.com. We can get you signed up for that. But highly sensitive people, empaths, star seeds, sensitives alike, are starting to feel more and more different, if you will. It's a weird different, because it's not like, when I first came out of the closet, so to speak, telling people that I had these spiritual gifts and I was owning them and beginning to work with them. Everybody said I was a weirdo. Some people disassociated themselves with me, didn't want to be my friend. And it hurts. And I kept going on my journey. I kept answering, God's call to do the work and to work through my stuff and expand into clearing energies and moving frequencies and helping people to heal mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So many of my family and friends just turned on me, didn't want to speak to me anymore, said I was a weirdo. The funny thing about that, sensitives, listen up. If that's you, guess what? When you work yourself into these abilities or allow yourself to open up to these abilities, and people are in trouble or in fear, or they need help and they can't find it conventionally, guess who they turn to? The weirdo. So please, pride yourself on being the weirdo. It's okay, really. Anyway, personal note. Okay, so DNA activation. You were born already with certain DNA strands that modern science has called junk DNA, because they can't figure out what it does. They know how all the other DNA works, and the was it U.S. Department of, I think it was National Information, used to have DNA sequencing on a website, and you could go click on it and it would tell you what DNA they figured out did what, for dis-ease and that kind of thing. And then right when COVID hit, within a couple months, they took it down. Don't know why. But anyway, just suffice it to say that they're doing genetic research to find out which genes do what. If this one's turned on or this one's turned off, what does that look like? And so they found a whole bunch of DNA that they considered to be junk because they couldn't figure out what it did. And what it did, or what it does, it is your spiritual DNA. It's your DNA that's being activated right now so that you can do the divine work you were sent here to do. It's opening up your consciousness, your subconsciousness, your spirit mind, or super consciousness, if you like, your ears are probably ringing. You hear a high-pitched frequency. Sometimes it's really, really super high and it's there all the time. And some people call me and say, I wish it would quit. Other times it's off and on again. But no matter how it is for you, the high-pitched frequency is the connection to the divine energy. It's the downloads you hear people talk about. It's the upgrades that you hear people talk about. And now some of it's being activated to change our physical body, to make it more resistant to disease. It is also shifting to open up our minds more towards healing. So a lot of us that have had a lot of poop in our lives, a lot of abuse in our lives, made to feel lesser than, might start feeling all of a sudden like, you know what, I am really good. I'm a good person. And yeah, I've been through some stuff, but I'm working on that and I feel really good. And, you know, I'm good. And you really are. And you mean it from your heart. And some of you are working in that direction. Getting rid of self-punishment, self-sabotage, and moving forward and really blossoming in your life no matter what age you are. And that has a lot to do with this DNA activation, because we're needed at this time to bring light to this world, no matter what work you do, no matter whether you are clearing the energies for the planet or bringing hope to somebody at a grocery store by simply smiling. It is our job to uplift and uphold this planet. It is our job as highly sensitive people to bring love and light to this world. So for those of you that weren't with me when COVID came out, and my guides gave me the sequence for COVID, and as it's turning out, it's also some sequencing and some other things that are around COVID. But what my guides told me is that the COVID disease was designed to disconnect the mind from the body. And that makes sense, because if you are leading your life with your mind, then anybody that can control your mind can control you. And if you are controlled in your physical body, that also can control the spiritual mind. And remember, we have a spiritual mind. We are a soul in a physical body. And so there's some ambiguous they that would like to control the entire planet. And if they take your ability away to think for yourself, then they control you, because you will do whatever they tell you to do to avoid pain. Go look in a history book if you haven't in a while. And you'll see it's already been done over and over many times in this particular planet we live in. So right now, the ambiguous they would like to see all the light squashed out. They would like to see us to the point where we are no longer strong. And they're trying to wind us down little bit by little bit, or grind us down little bit by little bit. So now is the time, sensitives, for you to own your power more than ever before, to take your power back, to center and balance yourself, to know who you are in time and space, to know why you actually came here at this time. For a long time, I was thinking to myself, what was I thinking living in this time? This is a crazy place to live, lots of transition. And then I realized how the beautiful opportunity it is to be alive on this planet in this time. Because as far as I know, and my guides tell me, no other planet that's ever been inhabited in any universe, and there's Googles of them, none have ever been where this planet is now. This planet has human bodies with souls attached to them or living in them. This planet is a place that's an earth school. And by being here at this time, in this place, we get to see the birth of a new heaven and a new earth, which is quite exciting, really. And if this message is resonating with you, if you're a highly sensitive person, an empath, or a starseed, you know this is you. And you know, you're like, well, you're like, wow, you know, this is a fantastic time to be alive, although draining, I will admit. So I was talking about the DNA activation. And how do you know that that's going on for you? Because not every person that draws a breath on this planet is going through the activation, because they didn't sign up for the mission we did. So one of the things is being very thirsty. I feel like I can't get enough to drink. So if that's you, please watch what kind of water that you're taking, or what kind of ingredients you're putting in your water. Because our bodies are shifting and the DNA is shifting, the body requires more protein and more water, and a different kind of protein. So you may, that's another symptom of the DNA activation, a diet change. And not because you want to save money on groceries, it's because things aren't appealing to you anymore. And you eat them and you feel gross. Food that you've eaten a whole bunch of times before, and now it's not that the restaurant is bad or the food is bad, it's because your frequency is changing. And in order for your DNA to activate and open, it's taking a different kind of hydration and a different kind of protein, a different kind of diet. So you might notice yourself being on a more liquid diet. And with the water, get the purest water you can. I know there is a way that you can, I think I'll deionize the water. Paul, if you're still watching, if you could help me out with that. There's a way that you can shift the water so it like takes all the nutrients, all the minerals out of the water, but it also takes all the ugly stuff, and they call it dead water because it really doesn't hydrate the body at all. Again, Paul, if you're listening, please let me know what that's called when they have that system that just takes everything out of the water. But I have gone and had water that's been treated that way, where they take everything out of it. It's called dead water, and it has no nutrients or anything like spirit intended. And I drink it, and I feel more like the desert than before I drank it. So if you do that, there's a way that they can purify the water, but then you also have to get something to add back in it with different nutrients, different minerals to put back in that water, or find another filtration system that'll do really good things, because depending on what part of the world you live in, when we live in these highly populated places, they put a lot of chemicals in the water to try to purify them. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Paul. He says osmosis process for water. Yes, that's it. The osmosis process. So basically, it takes out all the chemicals that are in the water that were added by the processing plant, but it also takes out any natural minerals or vitamins that were in there. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. So DNA activation, you're going to feel a lot thirstier. Again, your body is changing. Your body is largely water. And so for me, because my vibration is changing and my food is changing, I'm having to drink more water because my body is mostly water, and water will associate itself with a frequency. And so as your frequency changes, your body's having to get rid of the water that had the former frequency and bring in new water to adjust to the new frequency. And for those of you that understand what that is, you'll get it. If you don't, reach out to me, we'll talk about it. And then the high-pitched whine or the ringing in the ears. And then the dietary change, a lot of us are feeling more like liquid diets. And I pretty much have a smoothie in the morning for breakfast and / lunch. And that's all I really feel like. I don't really want too much more. If I do get a protein, I usually turn to fish. I really love beef, but I'm having to give it up because the frequency of the beef just isn't what I need in order to shift to these higher frequencies. So I'm shifting over to more of a fish diet. Then you'll also notice that if your DNA is activating, you'll also notice that you're manifesting more quickly. That was the biggest shock to me, but the most wonderful, loving surprise is manifesting much faster. And what happens is, like I was telling you that story earlier, you know, I want you to know what manifesting looks like. It's not basically the Aladdin's lamp where you rub it, the genie comes out and goes, poof, here's a pile of gold. You know, sometimes it takes a few steps to get there. But just thinking about what you desire, and then all of a sudden it pops up, especially when it's for your highest good, to keep you safe, to keep you on target. And that's another thing that we could put under manifesting, but I've noticed that I'm being more protected. So today I was going around a corner that in a roundabout, which by the way, I don't like roundabouts. And it's a 2-lane roundabout. So one person on the inside, one person on the outside. And as I was coming around on the outside in my lane, the lady that was on the inside took a little bit more than her half out of the middle of my lane. And normally I would have been just driving along minding my own business. But luckily I saw her out of the corner of my eye and was able to avert that accident. But I do know that one of the angels was over there going, hey, look over here, you know, so that I would see it. But anyway, faster manifesting. Things are manifesting into my life that I think about as they're for my highest good. They're helping me to move forward in my business. And it's just a matter of a few moments. Sometimes where used to it would take days. Sometimes it's just hours. And things come into my realm that I need, you know, just right there, boom. So it's a very quick time. And for those of you that are experiencing the DNA activation, you will notice that. And then the last but not least, is probably the least distasteful, but much needed, is that people are not matching your vibration anymore. So you might notice that people that were once your friends, just, you know, you were hanging out with them, having a good time. Who knows, maybe you were watching football or hockey with these people. Maybe you'd have a barbecue with them on a Sunday, you know, after church, and you enjoyed talking to them. And there's almost like this really weird mental shift where you're noticing that what you used to talk about with them is no longer interesting to you. It seems very mundane, or, you know, it seems very, it's like if you're a senior in high school and you try to talk to a third grader, you know, it's not that the conversation isn't interesting. It's just that as a senior in high school, you have a way different perspective than a third grader. And so you may be noticing that, and that you're focusing on different things than you used to. Your attention's drawn to things that just don't match the crowd you used to run with. So if that's happening for you, please don't let it frighten you. It just means that your conscious awareness, your divine awareness is heightening. You're being called again to a higher level of concentration, of consciousness, you know, of well-being, so that as we go forward, you too will be able to rise into this new heaven and new earth that are coming very quickly. So it is a progression. You know, people ask me, okay, well, is it going to happen tomorrow? No, because it takes time. My two least favorite words together, ladies and gentlemen, take some time. Anyway, but what's happening is you had at one time this one planet we call Earth, and it was going along. And then as soon as the new age, you know, hit, this planet began to change its vibration and shift, almost like an embryo. And, you know, it's an egg, and then boop, it goes into two. And so there's this progression of the frequencies moving into two different realities. And so those of us that are awake, aware, you know, participating, will shift into a reality that's much different than those that don't. And it's not bad or good, right or wrong. It's just the progression of the souls on the planets, and the one reality becoming two. So anyway, let me look to see if we have any questions. So if you have any questions, please put them in the feed. If you're on YouTube, please share your questions down below, or go to toolsofenergyprotection.com and click on About. You'll find a way to privately message me. Okay, so again, hello to Wendy, Kelly, Paul, good to have you aboard, Kelly, Rochelle, good to see you, Amy, Becky, good to have you, Barbara, Melina, good to have you aboard. And Barb, good to see you. Oh, Barb, good that you got a new juicer. Yay. And then Paul talks again about the water. It says takes ionized chemicals out of the water. Yes. Salt is the most common, also chlorine. Yes, good. I'll have to get with you later on that, see if I can get myself a machine. Hi, Brenda. Let's see here. Let's Chelsea. Chelsea, so good to see you. Hearts to you too. All right, everybody. So anyway, that is what I wanted to get across to you tonight, is mostly these DNA activations and what what that's looking like and what's happening as we begin to shift. And also to make sure that whatever you desire in your life in the next 3 days, that you're putting that energy out there and walking forward. You're being blessed under God's grace, if you would like to say it that way. Just walk forward and know that anything you ask is coming, because as soon as Pluto goes into retrograde on Friday, we're going to see some changes. The planets won't be direct anymore, and we're going to start seeing things with the solar eclipse and eclipse season, and that always shakes things up. But the universe is showing you your new path. So if you've been doing like I've been doing the whack-a-mole, where you keep trying to put a million things out because the world is going so quickly. If you feel like the world's going quickly, if you can give me a thumbs up, because I'm looking at my whiteboard and I had 6 things I wanted to get done today, and it's not happening. I've got more fires to put out tomorrow, more or less, more things working, and it just seems like I never have enough time. And I've worked 2 weeks, 7 days in a row, and I know that's not good. None of you do that. So I went down to 6 days, and that's still not good. And so now I'm going down to 5 so that I can rest and serve all of you. And it's amazing how much, you can't fit in a day. It's a lot. And again, if you are interested, if you're starting to feel that desire inside, and you're like, I need to learn what's going on. I need to learn about my spiritual gifts, where I am in space and time. And I know I have these abilities. I'm not sure what to do next or which way to go, or I've studied 5 different things. How do they all fit together? That's what we're doing in the Spiritual Awakening Academy. And May 1st is when I'm starting the next round of students. So if you're interested, reach out to me, private message me on Facebook, or if you're on toolsenergyprotection.com, go ahead and go over there. I'm going to do a reading here real quick for those of you that want a free reading, and you want to post a question down below. Otherwise, I'm going to just do a little reading here. My guides were telling me that I need to do a short reading for everybody here at the end tonight. So if you have any questions about health, wealth, or romance, you want to put them down in the feed, that would be fine. Meanwhile, I'm going to shuffle cards while I finish this up. But there's just a lot going on. And, trying to get 7 days worth of work down into 5 days is not easy. But again, I need to serve all of you. And with the Academy starting up again on May the 1st, you're going to join in, and we're going to get you headed in the right direction. So reach out to me, private message me, or go in toolsofenergyprotection.com, click on the Academy. There is an application there. It doesn't cost you anything to apply at this time. And then I will personally reach out to you, and we will talk about what your desire is coming into the Academy, what you'd like to learn, and how we can best serve you. So it may be that you're not accepted into the Academy, and you might take some smaller classes, because the Academy is for starseeds, empaths, and highly sensitive people, and it is for those of you that are serious to get yourself into the space and time, get grounded and connected to God's spirit or source, and move forward in your divine gifts, because the world needs us, and it needs us very quickly. I don't know how much longer it's going to be before we split into the new heaven and the new earth. The boss hasn't told me that, but I know it's not going to be very long. Okay, let's go ahead and look, see if we have any questions. And Kelly, I will answer your question. Chelsea, thank you. It says, I can feel the energy is going nuts. Yes, Chelsea, it is going nuts. That's why I'm opening up more room for people to get into the Academy, so we can all, it's says sword sharpens sword in the Bible, so that's what we're headed for. Okay, Kelly says, I need romance in my life. All right, Kelly. So what I have is called Akashic Record cards. These are really cool. And all right, Kelly. That's funny. I pulled one card for you, Kelly, for a reading for the romance here, and it says Three of Scrolls, setting your course. So if you have a question, please put it down below. I'm doing Akashic record readings right at the moment, just pulling a card for everybody. And Kelly was asking about her love life. So Kelly, looks like you're going to be setting the course. Here, you're looking out into the future, what kind of love life you want to have. I would ask you to think about what's most important in your life coming up. Perhaps if you're a highly sensitive person, starseed, empath, that kind of thing, you would desire to meet up with somebody who can resonate with your frequency, because that is one of the symptoms, is that people's frequencies aren't matching so much anymore. And you're seeing a lot of us and them kind of situations, sadly, in some relationships, because they can't make a bridge between the two. But it happens. All right, I'm gonna look and see if we have any more questions. Okay, I don't see any more questions. So before I go, it looks like we're at about 41 minutes, trying to keep these a little bit shorter these days. But I'm gonna pull a card for the collective consciousness and see Akashic record wise where we are going. For the collective consciousness, I will tell you that I used to come on here, for years, when the cards flew out. Maybe that's our card to read tonight. And I would ask how many timelines we were on. Timelines are projections, where we're going. And I used to get 3, sometimes 2. And I told you that when we came to 1, I would get nervous. Well, I am nervous because we are on one timeline. And that means that our Earth is splitting, not physically in half, but vibrationally. The new heaven and the new earth is a higher vibration, one of peace and joy. And the lower vibration is going to be one more about war and stinginess, greediness, just awful stuff. All right, here we go. And again, I will be at For Heaven's Sakes Books this coming up Thursday. If you'd like to get on my books, 303-964-9339. They might have one spot left. I've been noticing over the last couple of weeks that I'm booking up to 2 weeks out. So if you can't get on the schedule for this week, do next week. If you're okay to do a Zoom or a phone call, then go to toolsofenergyprotection.com, click on services, or you can send me an email and we will get you on my schedule. Okay, so here is a Akashic record reading from some Akashic record cards as opposed to my pendulum, because they're prettier and people can see them. Very, very interesting. I'll pull one more card. And remember, when we're pulling cards, it's a vibration that matches, whoever's pulling the cards or who you're looking for. So I was asking for an Akashic Records reading coming up for us, for our entire planet and environment. I'm getting all kinds of cold chills, so this is right on the money. So this is called the Queen of Keys, and as you can see there, she is looking out. She is waiting for her husband to return, and if you notice right there, she has a book, okay? And she is planning the future, making plans like in a calendar like we do, and she is the queen, okay? This is a feminine energy, not a masculine. And the key to the future is in her plans. And you see how she is in her castle where she's up and she can see high. Well, that's where the starseeds, highly sensitive people, and empaths are. When we rise, as our DNA opens, as our frequency opens, we can see further out into the future than the average normal person. We can see the truth, the love, and the light of what's happening, and not get down here in all the muck where everybody else is. All right, the other one I thought was rather interesting. I asked where this world was going, and I got the Queen of Scrolls, okay? This is actually the Lady of Akasha, in my humble opinion. She's got the scrolls of all the lifetimes. You notice her third eye is lit up so she can see what's going on. get all that light coming in. So our Akashic records are very important because at this time and space, if you have karma from any other lifetime that you've been trying to clean out time after time, the most important thing is to get off of this wheel of karma. And so God's Spirit Source has opened the Akashic records where hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, sometimes Googles of unbalanced energy can be cleared instantly because of the grace we're being given in this time. So if you're having trouble with your health, your wealth, your romance, you feel like things are dragging around, you're not happy and suffering from anxiety and depression all the time, then let's get together and clear that out, because that's a lot of stuff coming from a lot of lifetimes of here and now to be cleared out and live a much happier life. I know I've been doing it for myself. Okay, next one, Archangel Gabriel. That's what else is coming up. So, Gabriel is helping us, if you will. You see his trumpet there, okay? And he's got that scroll around his waist. So he's got a message to deliver, and he's come with a trumpet, and if you read the Bible, it says, when this trumpet blows and that trumpet blows, it's an announcement, and that's a vibration. Think of a trumpet, that's a vibrational frequency, and there's a message for the whole world. And the message is, are you going to align yourself with the truth, the love, and the light to be whole, and to line up with that? Or are you going to participate in this not so happy world that we live in, and where things are not equated properly, where things are not fair, in my humble opinion? Because I've seen in the last couple of weeks, I've seen so much unfairness, and I have just been disgusted by what I have seen dealt in this world. So I try not to get off into too many deep ends, but suffice it to say that if you read the canonized version of the Bible and you read about Jesus, Jesus came to spread the truth, the love, and the light in a time that, had some issues. And Jesus spread the light and the love. He helped people. And in the end, somebody ratted him out, and he went to court, and he lost. And not only did he lose because he kept his peace and his silence, but he lost because he knew there was a greater purpose than for him to inflate his ego. And you know the rest of the story. But right now, many of us are going to find ourselves in similar paths where justice is not on our side. But we must still shine the light. And I implore you to dump your karma, to resolve as many things as you can, whether it's through Akashic record reading and clearing, whether it's praying, asking, so that you can be light and happy. I'm not utopically happy every day, but I laugh a lot because it's easier for me to look at the comedy of things than it is the tragedy. I still have to work through my own issues, though, as we all do. So with that, I don't see any more questions. And I wish you all an absolute wonderful week. Again, if you are interested at all in coming to the Spiritual Awakening Academy, I'm going to be opening it Sunday the 1st. Believe it or not, that's just a few days away. And we're going to learn more about your spiritual gifts, how to open them, how to accept them and embrace them, and how to walk forward in your life with whatever you desire. And through the power of God's Spirit or Source and your groundedness here on this planet, you can become this beautiful sphere, of love and light, and you can walk forward no matter what adversity comes your way. and be more centered and more balanced and find the beautiful life that is here on this planet, here and now, the spectacular time to be alive. All right, big hugs and kisses to all of you. Have a great one.